Hey, welcome everyone, and happy Wednesday. It is so good to be here with you today. And I apologize. I had intended to start this thing at 12:15, and we are about 10 minutes late. I'm so sorry about that. This is a crazy day. As you can see, I'm not in my normal spot. I am actually in North Little Rock, Arkansas right now. I'm at my son and daughter-in-law's house and using their space because I am so excited. After this, I'm going with my friend Pam, and we signed up last month to run the Cowtown Half Marathon. And both of us had issues with our training, so we took it to a virtual option, and we are running our virtual half after this. So I had to make a few adjustments, but I wanted to come here and make sure that I was on with you guys today because I have a really special topic. And so I'm just going to double check. It looks like we are connected on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And if you are joining in, if you will just drop a hello in the chat. Real important, guys. So those of you who are joining on from Facebook, if you've not watched one of my live streams before, it's going to be important for you to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Give Facebook and StreamYard permission to speak to each other so that I can see your name in the comments. So if you'll do that, it's StreamYard.com/Facebook. Otherwise, it's just going to say Facebook user, so you're going to have to tell me your name. All right. So drop a hello in the chat for me. I am just thrilled that you are here and joining me. We've got a great topic that I'm excited about to tell you about today. But first off, if I am new to you and you are new to me, let me have some introductions. I'm Beverly Smith, and I am the founder of Career Success Strategies. And as the former owner of a staffing and recruiting firm, I know firsthand what hiring managers are looking for, and I use that knowledge to help mid and senior level professionals build their resumes and help them with their job search strategies so that they can land the career of their dreams. So last week, we talked all about how to address those questions on why are you updating your LinkedIn profile? I see some changes going on there, and what's up? Are you looking for a job? If you missed it, it was a great episode, jam-packed with a lot of good information. You can go catch the replay on my YouTube channel, or if you want to dig down through my LinkedIn, you'll find it there. But the easiest is to tell you to go to YouTube. My channel is at Beverly Smith Runs. While you're there, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and click that bell so you'll get notified anytime that we upload videos. So, but that's where it'll be. This week, okay, I get asked about this topic a lot, and I want to dive into how to plan for career growth and expansion. And if you have questions, I will try to stop and check the chat periodically, drop them in the chat, or if you've got comments, leave them in the chat there. The other thing too is for those of you who are catching this on the replay, if you will please use hashtag replay so I know when you saw it. And also, if you have a question, if you will tag me in it, I get notifications when I'm tagged, and that will ensure that I come back and answer your question. So if you'll do that for me. So let's dive in and talk about how to plan your career and how to plan it for growth and expansion. So I've got 4 strategies for you today. And the first one is goal setting. And I feel like this is really the cornerstone for career growth and expansion. It is the one thing you want to do to progress and develop your career. You know, it's just one thing if you want to do that, but it's another thing for you to actually plan for it. So done right with goal setting, it's how you get clarity on your next steps and what your next steps are going to look like and what your career is going to look like. It's basically like having a roadmap. And think about it, if you don't know where you're going, how on earth are you going to know when you get there? So, what kind of job satisfaction is that to have planned? Not to have planned, but just to go, "Oh, I know I really want to grow and progress in my career." Um, in fact, I think of for those of you, I'm going to date myself, but way back in the 90s when we all used that objective statement on our resume that was something like, to go to work for a company where I can grow and develop my skills, or develop and use my skills. I mean, just really vague. It did not say one daggum thing. So, goal setting, again, done right, it's going to give you clarity. And so I am a big advocate of setting SMART goals, and not just goals that are smart, but the acronym SMART. And I feel like probably a lot of this audience is going to be familiar with that, but this is something that we could probably spend an entire episode in of itself discussing what SMART goals are and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to real quickly, instead of doing that today, we're just going to cover what SMART stands for. It stands for goals that are specific, goals that are measurable, goals that are attainable or achievable, goals that are relevant, and goals that are time bound. And so instead of going and diving into each one of those, I really want to just share with you an example I have from one of my clients who has a 20 plus year career in the IT field. And over the past 7 years, he has increasingly taken on leadership roles. And what he has found is he's really enjoyed the challenge as well as the job satisfaction from leading the team. And it's made him realize that his long-term goal is to become a CIO in 3 to 5 years. So for him, his next logical step from where he is in his career is to land a VP or a director role, which is where, when we worked together, we developed and targeted his resume specifically to showcase those leadership skills and show how he was more than qualified to move into that next step of a VP or a director. So that is an example of a SMART goal because it is very specific. It is measurable. He's going to be able to measure that progress. He can look back and reflect back and see that. Definitely something that's going to be attainable or achievable based on his career progression. It's very relevant. He is in that field, and the CIO role is very relevant to that. And it's time bound. He said 3 to 5 years, which again goes back into that realistic and relevant category. So, and attainable. So that is a perfect example of a SMART goal. Hits on every one of those. So the next thing that we, in along the same vein, in goal setting, I want to take a few minutes to talk about making sure that your goals are in alignment with your values. And so really want to emphasize the need for making sure that your career goals, like I said, are in alignment, but they're aligned with your personal values as well as your passions. If not, it's really going to be a struggle, y'all. I'm just going to say, if what you're setting out there doesn't really align with your values, if you achieve them, you're probably not going to be happy. But I'm going to go so far as to say, if they're not in alignment, you're probably not going to achieve them. And then you're going to be frustrated because you're going to feel stuck. And I think a lot of times people tend to set goals that aren't in alignment because they think that's what they should do. That's, the logical next step. Um, you know, to be in that position. And they do this, and then it's almost like a self-sabotage because it's not like an alignment. But in my opinion, it's probably God saying, hey, this is not what I have here for you, and you're not going down that path. So get aligned and see what I have for you. And I'm really, I have a real strong belief in God, and I believe that if you will tune in, He's got a very specific path for us and for you specifically. I mean, He tells us that in Ephesians 2:10 that He's planned good works for you to do in advance. So He's got a plan, and you need to get in alignment and dig down and figure out what those are. And again, going through those SMART goals, and even everything that I'm going to walk you through today is going to help you determine if they are in alignment. And so, just kind of a personal example for me, one of my passions has always been working with the job seeker. And obviously, we had this staffing firm prior to me starting this business. But I always leaned towards helping the job seeker. And I knew I wanted to do it on a greater, more impactful level. And so when the opportunity to pivot arose, it was really a no-brainer for me because it was very in line with or aligned to my passion and my values. All right. So first thing was to set goals. Number 2 is a skill gap analysis. And real quick, let's see. I don't see anything in the chat, so I am going to keep going. But real important for you to identify areas that you need to develop in order to progress in your career. And I've got 3 kind of sub things underneath this one. The first one is self-assessment tools. There are several assessment tools or techniques that you can use to evaluate your current skills and identify areas that you have for improvement. And just kind of as a little teaser, my guest next week is going to be introducing you to the Clifton Strengths Finder. And he works specifically with folks with job seekers and people coaching them on career development. So make sure you come back next week. You're going to love it. It's going to be really, really good. But in addition to Clifton Strengths Finder, there's also DISC, Myers-Briggs, or one of my other favorites is the Colby Index. And all of these tools can be really useful for you. Another technique that I love is just sitting down with a journal. Reflect on what you already know are your strengths and your opportunities for improvements. I mean, get in there and look at those goals and really analyze, okay, what is it going to take for me to move that needle? And you're going to inherently know what some of your opportunities are. And this is a good exercise if you're not real strong on self-awareness. This is another good exercise. Along with that, a tool that I think is really, really good is the SWOT analysis, SWOT. So using a SWOT analysis, again, that could be a whole complete episode, and maybe we'll do that down the road soon. I will just have to put that down. It's a great tool, and really, you can take those goals and you can analyze where your strengths and where your opportunities are. And if you'd like for me to do a SWOT, walk you through what a SWOT analysis is, leave me a SWOT in the chat, SWOT. Would love to do that for you if that's something you think would be useful. Okay, so we talked about self-assessment tools. Getting feedback from others is another thing that will be very useful in understanding what you're doing when you're doing your skill gap analysis. So You can seek feedback from mentors, supervisors, from your peers. Really use it as a way to gain insights into potential blind spots and areas that you have for growth. And so I personally worked with a mentor and a business coach back when I had my staffing firm. And this, y'all, was huge for me because she was able to provide me with powerful insight and actionable steps that helped me develop and hone my skills as a leader. So I love being open to getting feedback from each other, again, growing that self-awareness factor and really understanding how that's going to help you as you develop your career and work towards growth and expansion. Okay. The third thing I have under skills analysis is doing industry research. And it is just so important for you to become a student of your industry. If you want to propel your career, you need to know what your industry is all about. You need to know what the latest trends are. You need to do your own research and understand what the job market demands are, and to identify those skills and competencies. And what you may find too in this industry research, and we'll talk a little bit more about this because it can play into your overall goals, into your SWOT analysis, as well as fine-tuning your strategy. And like I said, we'll get into that. And I've got another point where we talk a little bit more about fine-tuning. So just being aware of what the research. So again, just to kind of go back, we talked about goals, we talked about skill gap analysis. We talked about you being in alignment, SMART goals, being in alignment, skill gap analysis. We talked about self-assessment tools, getting feedback, and doing industry research. All right. My third strategy for you as you work towards career growth and expansion is professional development opportunities. So invest in yourself, invest in your growth. If it is a must, if you intend to move up in your career, to make progress, or even if you want to pivot at some point, professional development is a must. So I've got 3 things under this category as well. You can get that through continuing education, whether it's like formal programs or certifications or workshops. They all are going to provide value and open doors for new opportunities, not just for future roles, but even in your current roles. So take advantage of anything that your company offers to learn and develop new skills. And obviously you can enroll in programs on your own. Online learning, y'all, is just really taken off. And there are so many opportunities. And I'm not just talking about like online learning, like college courses, college level classes. It could be as simple as taking a course through Udemy. Maybe you're thinking of going in a certain direction and investing in a course in Udemy or LinkedIn Learning, or even a free course through your library, might help you decide if that is something you really want to pursue before you go and drop big bucks on learning those additional skills and acquiring that knowledge. So a few years ago, I decided I really needed to brush up on my accounting principles. And although I outsourced a good portion of that in my company, I needed to have a better understanding of my P&L and, how to read those financial reports. So I went online to my local library, and they have a I forget exactly what it's called, but it's some kind of university that's online. And it was a free course that I took on basic accounting principles through my local library. And it helped me so much. It just covered the overviews. I had to take tests on it and, in order to move to the next module. So I really had to learn the material and take notes. And it was really very, very helpful, very beneficial for what I needed at that point. I liked it so much that I decided, I've used Microsoft Outlook like since the beginning of time, but I kind of was in a rut and I was just like, I used it for a certain way. And so I went back and took Microsoft Outlook. I took a course on it to learn to see if there was any other aspects of it that I could implement, that I could use better in my business that would make me more efficient. So continuing education is a great way to develop professionally. Another way is attending networking events. And yes, I said networking events, but if you think about oftentimes, like I know, like our Chamber of Commerce has what they call FYI every Friday or first Friday of every month. And it is a huge networking event where you're going to go and meet other professionals, but they always have a featured speaker. And there have been some great topics talked about in there. And you can go to these networking events and gain valuable insight. You might even learn about things that pique your interest. So there may be other things that you want to explore that would have an impact on your career. Also, conferences, take advantage of conferences or industry seminars as well. And you can, when you go to these things, obviously there's a lot of learning in those, but you can expect to meet and expand your professional network where you can learn from your industry or learn from your peers in your industry. Sometimes too, so I know that, I was active in SHRM, and at some of our local chapter things, those who had a SHRM certification, just by attending that, they got continuing education credits. And so those are another great thing. So look for opportunities like that. Also, obviously, on-the-job learning is another great way to develop professionally. You want to seek out those opportunities, even that are within your current role, such as cross-functional projects or mentorship programs. And going back to my example of my client whose long-term goal is to become a CIO, much of his leadership experience initially came from learning opportunities within his company and participating in cross-functional projects. And he would volunteer to take on additional tasks. And so it's real important, like, to ask or volunteer for opportunities to participate and learn. And I'm going to tell you too, if you are aiming for a promotion within your current company, leadership loves to see you take those types of initiative, and they are looking and watching to see who is. And you never know, they may actually come and tap you for a promotion before they ever post it, and you even know that it's available. So these are just great tools. So again, develop professionally and look for opportunities in continuing education, networking events, and online learning or on-the-job learning. All right, fourth and final one. And before I do that, let's just jump over and see. I don't see any comments or questions, but thank you guys for hanging in with me. Drop me a heart if you're still here with me. Remember, I use #replay. I knew this one would be long. There's so much, and I just feel like I'm flying through it. I probably should have broken these down into a couple of episodes, but our last one is regular evaluation and adjustment. And I guess what I want to say here is be willing to fine tune your strategy. Things change, whether it's technology or simply your interest. Those goals that you set just may need to be tweaked. So, ways that you can do regular evaluation is look at your performance reviews. Watch for certain signs within these performance reviews. These are a great opportunity for you for both self-reflection on your own as well as feedback from leadership or your managers in your company. Maybe there's certain areas that you feel like you struggle with, and it does show up in your review. This may be a sign that it's time for you to reevaluate your goals. I have worked with several clients in sales and business development who all at one time or another thought it was going to be a great natural next step for them to move into a sales manager role. Yet when they were given that opportunity, they didn't like it. They didn't do well. It showed up in their work. They found they would rather be out in the field, actually dealing with clients than managing the team. And y'all, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, not everybody has a gifting for management of the team and inspiring the team. And these are areas to watch for. So if something in a performance review does not go maybe even like you expected it to go, maybe your review was worse than you expected, or maybe you're provided with an opportunity to discuss these types of things, welcome it and ask for the feedback. That's a great opportunity to make that performance review a conversation. And, especially this can really work in your favor because it shows your vested interest in the company and you as being an employee that wants to serve the company well. All right. We talked about performance reviews as far as regular evaluation adjustment. The next one is personal development plans. So I know we talked about professional development, but personal development is just as important as professional development. And as you fine tune your strategy, I want you to create a customized personal development plan so that you can track your progress toward your goals and look for areas that you know that you need to improve. And this could be, I'm not saying you necessarily have to enroll in a course. This could be simple things such as reading books, or my favorite is listening to books or trainings or podcasts on particular topics during my daily commute. I used to do that, and I used to, when my parents were alive and I was driving back and forth to Texas a lot, I would actually plan, here's what I'm going to listen to. Here's areas that I'm really interested in. And then when I would get to wherever I was going later that night, I might whip out my journal and kind of journal on some of the things that I heard. And so great opportunity, do your personal development, keep a list of areas that you want to develop and keep your eyes open for opportunities. Because I promise when you make that, when you put it out into the world of what you want to do, you're going to get the right materials that you're supposed to be watching. It's kind of serendipitous. It's kind of God over there taking care of you too. Okay. Finally, I want to talk a little bit more about, in the vein of regular evaluation and adjustment, let's talk about being flexible and adaptable. Just be aware that things change, and there's going to be a need for you to be for flexibility and adaptability in your career planning. You may have to move to be closer to help with an aging family member, and that may have an impact on your career, causing you to have to go back and kind of reevaluate and readjust. Your interests could change, y'all. Or you might experience burnout as you get older. Your your desires to climb easy for me to say, your desires to climb the corporate ladder, they may indeed wane over time. And y'all, that's okay. It is okay if these things change. You just need to be aware and know that it's okay. If no one else is giving you permission, I'm giving you permission for that to be okay. My number one piece of advice here is to pray and seek God's guidance in this. But I want you to listen to that inner voice that may be nudging you. Maybe a lateral move is more appealing to you, or moving to a completely different industry, or a pivot into doing something different. And that's okay. Just reevaluate and fine tune your strategies so that they do accommodate your overall goals. It may change the professional development that you take on, and just know that that's okay. Just let me add here, and I guess I really feel really strongly about this. This is your career. Your career should serve you and your family. What other people think if you change course is none of your business. Let that sink in. What other people think if you change course, that's none of your business. They're entitled to their opinions. Only you and God know what's best for you. So I say this in all sincerity and honesty. Don't feel pressured to live up to the expectations of others. This is your career, and you get to decide how it plays out. The important thing is that you plan as much as you can. And just in quick review, I know we've covered a lot of information. The 4 things we talked about were setting goals using the SMART system, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, and making sure those goals are aligned with your value. We also talked about conducting a skills gap analysis to figure out, where is it you need to improve your skills to develop professionally. And you can do that through self-assessment tools, getting feedback from others, as well as your industry research. Y'all be a student of your industry or of your field. And thirdly, embrace professional development. Invest in yourself and your growth. If your company offers things, if they offer continuing education, take advantage of it. But if they don't, look for your own opportunities and remember those free things that we talked about. Go to networking events so that you can always be learning, always be hearing. And of course, look for opportunities on your job within your current role. What can you volunteer? How can you learn new skills doing what you do on a day-to-day basis? And fourth, and finally, regularly evaluate and adjust. Go back to those goals, regularly evaluate and adjust what those goals are. You can do that through your performance reviews, through personal development, and also just by being willing to be flexible and adaptable and fine-tune by listening to that inner voice, that nudging of where you really need to be. All right, we covered a lot. I would love to know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. If this is helpful, please share this and make sure, guys, that you tag someone or share it. If you're not already following me on LinkedIn, you can go to my profile and it's just Beverly Smith. Search for me and make sure you follow me or connect with me. Better yet, send me a connection request. Click that little bell, and then that way you'll get notified every time I post, because I post a lot of really good, helpful content. And Let me also just add real quick too that I believe, and we didn't touch on this, but one of the biggest ways that you can propel yourself in your career is being active on platforms like LinkedIn. And I think it's a great way, it's a great free platform for you to use. And I'm going to drop something here in the chat so if I seem distracted. But it's a great platform for you to use to increase your visibility, to develop your thoughts, leadership, to really propel your career. And I've done episodes on this, and what I've just dropped in the chat is a link to my LinkedIn Success Blueprint. And it is a checklist that's going to help you, take you step by step, everything that you need to do to adjust your profile and to optimize it so that recruiters can find you, but also just helping you become more visible. Also, we talk about on the checklist, there is strategies for connecting with people and increasing your visibility. It is great. Actually, linked in that checklist are back to some of my other videos that I've done on these subjects. So great opportunity. Please pick that up. And just remember too, I do work with mid to senior level professionals and executives as well who are ready to level up and invest in a professionally written resume, who want some help with their job search strategies. I do offer a free consultation. I don't just try to sell a one size fits all resume that fits you, because everybody's needs are unique and different. And so if you would like to discuss those options with me, I do have a complimentary consultation available. And here is a link. I'm going to put it in the chat to get on to my, there it goes, to get on my calendar. It's about 45 minutes. And we'll do a high level look at your current resume. We'll talk about your situation, what you need, and really try to hone exactly what it is that's going to help you be successful, shorten your look time so that you're not between jobs, or you're not having to just, jobs are just hard and it takes a long time. And my goal is to shorten that timeline for you. So, okay, we've covered a lot. I'm going to be back next week. It will be at 12:30 Central Standard Time, so 1:30 Eastern. What is that? 11:30 Mountain and 10:30 Pacific. I think I got that. And come back and join me. As I alluded to, I've got a special guest coming. My friend Indy Little is going to be joining you and me here in this space, and going to be telling us all about the Clifton Strength Finders, how it can help you as you grow and expand your career, and how it can play a role in your own career development and your own job search strategy. So look forward to seeing you on my next video.